Lee Mancon, because measurement is a part of what you do, but it's also a question in terms of P&L statement. How does measurement play a role in that in terms of sort of a takeaway recommendation?
Yeah. Well, I think as the interesting thing about the new creativity is that new creativity has data kind of at the core of it, and I think, you know, as creative people, probably how many of you liked math class when you were growing up? Seriously, like none of you. And I think
Zero on math.
zero. That's kind of amazing. But like, you know, you look at an artist like Jonathan Harris, who's amazing, and I think this idea that, you know, data can actually be that as creative people we shouldn't be afraid of information. That information.
I'm not familiar with Jonathan's work.
Well, he's a visual artist who played a lot with using digital media as a kind of creative outlet, and so he created a recent site called Cowbird, which is interesting. But he did We Feel Fine, which kind of integrated a lot of, and I think this idea of using all the amazing stuff that companies like Google create, that there's this thing called an API that means that all of the social activity that we do kicks off data, and that's actually something that we can use as creative material. And so the notion of creativity and doing cool stuff for brands, or even not for brands, is changed. And it's not linear storytelling, but hey, wait, there's all this amazing information from what people are searching and from what people are doing on Instagram and what people are doing on Facebook, and that we as creative people can use those and integrate those into our creative practice. And so when Deborah's talking about experimenting, that experimenting doesn't mean just doing something wacky and hey, let's see what happens. But that experimenting actually means like, it's time to put on the fucking lab coat that you didn't like when you were in chemistry class and like, do an experiment. I hypothesize that this will happen, and here's what I think might happen, and it didn't work. Now, what can I change in the experiment and actually steal from the scientific method and use it for creative means and not just to do the same old shit? So if that helps, I mean, experimenting is a great kind of thing, but like experimenting means actually creating experimental conditions and testing and learning and doing something different the next time. And frankly, setting it up to your client is like, oh, it's a pilot. Don't worry, we're making an experiment. It's a great tool for being a rebel without actually seeming like a rebel. It is, oh, it's just an experiment. We're just trying something new. And it's a pilot. You don't have to worry about it. We're just piloting things. One of our clients talks a lot about that. It's like, oh, it's just a pilot. Don't worry about it. We'll let you know how it goes. And there's a lot of freedom in that, but we have to be willing as creative people to do things differently than we maybe have in the past.